What's something that happens if you actually listen to somebody that you don't agree with? Okay, but what about if you do listen to them? What can happen if you listen to somebody you don't agree with? What's that? You can learn something. What else? What about looking at the horse's butt? You might see a different perspective. You might see a different view than what you had ever seen before. What else could you figure out about them?
Teachers, pardon the interruption. When checking your roll today, if you would please circle any asynchronous students that are listed on your roll sheet, just circle their name and we will check their attendance later. Thank you.
You might figure out they're bigger idiots than you thought they were. Right? That's fun. Okay. Does anybody remember where we're at? Okay, I went to college. I hadn't done anything there. I was an idiot. So I was a guy. And this is the trust tree. Right? Nobody else over there needs to know. Nobody else in there needs to know. I hope that's running. Let me make sure because yesterday it didn't work. Yes. Anyways. Don't get mad at me, that's fine. My oldest kid was not a ladies' man. None of my kids are ladies' men. I might be. I wasn't a ladies' man. He was going out with this girl in college, and she was an idiot. She was crappy, wasn't she? She was crappy. And y'all have all seen it. Everybody in the world looks at, like, say Joe's going out with somebody, and she's horrific, right? She's terrible. And Joe's like, oh, she's the greatest thing ever. Why? Because she's talking to him. And everybody else is like, oh my gosh, what is it? You know, we can all see it. He can't see it. Everybody saw it. Cole couldn't see it. And he would get mad when Mom brought it up and was trying to help. And she said, Jonathan, what? How do I said, Christy, girls are undefeated. Don't try to play that game. Just stay out. He's got to lose that game on his own and hopefully win the next one. You know, they're undefeated. They will never be beaten. You know. Like I said, anyway, I was going out with this girl. And she wasn't terrible, just a girl. I did something really stupid. I had a car. I was going to college.
Teachers, at this time, we are ready for all ninth graders to report to the cafeteria. If you are a teacher that only has ninth graders, please accompany them to the cafeteria. Thank you.
She didn't have a car. So I'm going to college, and I said, hey, you can just drive my car, and you drop me off at school, and I don't need a car. That's stupid, okay? Isn't it? That's dumb having to let someone else have your car, legally, liability, all that kind of stuff. I really think God was behind that because if I had a car, I would have left. I was stuck there. Okay, she dropped me off. I walk into the field house. And I walked in, and this is an old 1950s field house. They've redone it, but I walk in, there's a little entryway, and there's the locker room this way, and there's the training room, and the equipment room over here. And I walk in, I look this way. And I look this way, and there's this huge, not jacked up huge, but old man huge. You know what I mean? Just a big guy. He's about 6'3", had a little bit of a gut, just really tall. Coach Lawson, who played football in the 50s, and his last game broke his back. Literally broke his back. It did not involve spinal cord damage, but he broke bones in his back, and 3 days later went to see about it. Let that sink in a little bit. He broke his back and didn't tell anybody for 3 days. That's the man who was our trainer. So when you sprained your ankle, it wasn't like he felt sorry for you, and he wasn't touchy-feely. Oh, well, let's take care of it. No. Anyway, I'll turn and look. He was a drill sergeant in the 60s also. When you got to beat people up and be just, whatever. And I look, and he goes, come with me! And I crapped my pants, and I went with him. I went to the equipment room, and he, like, I was over there, he threw a helmet that went on, he slapped it, and the helmet spun. He said, well, that doesn't fit, and he ripped it off, and then he threw another one on there, and he slapped the helmet, and my head went with it. He said, that one fits. And then he looks at me and says, tell the rest of those, beep, 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 to beep, 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 get beep, 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 beep. And I crapped my pants and started crying, and I'm going through 3 days. 6 in the morning, you had off-season workout. This is football 2 days. You had an hour and a half off-season workout. Then you went and ate breakfast and drank this juice. It was like a mixture of all the juices, you know, just, and you had to take the salt tablet. Salt tablet. None of us died. None of us ever died. We didn't get water during practice, and we took salt tablets. I think y'all are a little soft. I don't know. Then we had practice in the morning, and then meetings. Practice in the evening, and then meetings, and then we went to bed. And the third day, it took me 20 minutes to walk across about a 5-acre campus. I was like, oh. Anyway, I was miserable. And if I'd had a car, I would have left. I was on the scout team, which meant they put, okay, you got your starters, and you have your scout team. In college, it's not like it's in high school. In college, they put guys on scout team that if they break their leg, the team will go on and the game will be possible to be played. In other words, defense and offense can go full speed. And if you get hurt, oh, too bad. But we'll be okay for Saturday. I was the receiver, the other team's receiver. I'd wear their jersey, whatever team they're wearing. You know, I'd have a jersey with that number, so they knew in the formation where to line up and what to look for and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it was interesting. It was hard. I'll tell that later. Anyway, I'll tell this one. We had 2 All-Americans on our defense. All-American is all district, but United States of America. So it's like the best in the country. We had outside linebacker Henry Miller, and we had Curtis Lewis, who was a safety. My last practice that year. Actually, my last practice ever, because I had to get a job. I'm running a drag. I'm running a drive route, a shallow route, and I'm sprinting down the line. Pee Wee's chasing us. Pee Wee was like 6'3", about 220, and he wasn't just, he was ripped, but he was like athletic ripped. He wasn't like action figure. You know what I'm saying? Aldo was action figure. I'll tell you. First meeting, Aldo stands up. Aldo Billings was 6'4", probably 235, and he was action figure. His waist was that big. He had just ripples right here, and he had like shoulders, like round shoulders, and every muscle was big and round. And he's probably one of the most handsome men I've ever seen. Just, now I can say that. I'm way sure of myself. Me and Christy can sit there and talk about, well, is she hot? Well, yeah. Or is he hot? Yeah. I mean, we can. I'm fine. It's okay. Aldo was a Shakespearean actor. What you find out in life is your stereotypes don't always fit the situation. A Shakespearean actor. He is a professor. He is a professor of theater in, I think it's somewhere in California or Oregon, at a college out there. Anyway, he was a Shakespearean actor. He was our left guard, and he was the very definition of a man. And he had the James Earl Jones voice. That's the guy that was Darth Vader and does this CNN. You know what I'm talking about? That was his voice. And he stood up in our meeting. He turned around. Everybody introduced themselves. He goes, "My name is Aldo Billingsley, and I hate white people." And he was kidding. He was trying to scare the crap out of us, but he did. But anyway, I'm walking out of the meeting, the first meeting. Otis Amy, the best receiver in the country, is walking behind me. I grew up in Weatherford, Texas. Remember yesterday I said if you hadn't grown up in inner city Houston, you had no idea what it's like. If you hadn't grown up 40 miles outside town. I hadn't seen a lot of stuff in my life. And I looked up and there's a fountain. Colleges have fountains. I guess it's to broaden your mind or something. And there was a hippie. I've never seen a hippie in my life. TV, I'd seen hippies. There was a girl who's a hippie. I mean, you see her, oh, hippie. Long hair, just nothing done to it, and a dress, and she's in the fountain. dancing in the fountain. And two guys from like Peter, Paul, and Mary, how many roads, playing guitar and like singing this 60s song. And I'm walking and out loud went, oh my, what is that? And because I never seen anything like that. And Otis said, oh wow, that ain't the first of it. You ain't seen nothing yet. I learned in college, that first year, I learned that nerds are not nerds and cool guys ain't cool. Some of my best friends, my very best friend in the world, this man right here, Lane Lloyd, that's my soulmate. Right? That's my soulmate. Christy Riles is the love of my life. He's my soulmate. Did we finish each other's sentences? He called me once, and he did the first line of Hoosiers. If you've never seen Hoosiers, you need to watch Hoosiers. It's a movie. He said the first line, I said the second one. He said the third. For 45 minutes, we did the movie. That much. We had to stop, but we did the movie in order. And then he had to go. He said, all right, well, I'll see you later. That's the most meaningful conversation I've ever had in my life. That meant so much to each one of us. It's exactly what we needed at the time. Lane got out. He drove this little pansy car, tiny little girl car, and he wore these weird. I grew up, that was '85. There was a bunch of weird crap that went on then, and I wasn't down with any of it. I'm still exactly the same guy, act the same way, kind of look the same, except for the hair is all gone. I cut it all off a long time ago. So much cooler, so much hotter with like a mop on your head. I had a mop forever. Anyway, he got out of the car, and you said I shouldn't. I gotta change this. I looked at him. I said, "Oh my gosh, you got this weird haircut." I said, "What a pansy! What a weirdo!" Best friend in the whole world. I didn't know who he was. I looked at him and said, "This is who you are." And then I got to know him and went, "Oh, I'm an idiot. That's not what you are." I did teach. He did say once, "Ralph, thank you so much." He said, "You saved me." He said, "You brought me back to my roots. You got me back to Wranglers and man clothes. Thank you." He always said, I think he's going back now. But anyway. My senior year in college, I had to get a job, help pay for stuff, so I couldn't play football anymore. But I started doing track. I threw the javelin. We don't have javelin in high school. I'm so thankful we don't have javelin in high school. We don't need it. That's the last thing we need. Y'all seen the idiots at track meets. We don't need pointed spears at track meets. Threw the javelin. And if the van wrecked and everybody got hurt, I would have been on the mile relay. So I was like the alternate on the mile relay. We were a real good track team my senior year. I was running track. I had a full-time job. I worked the rec leagues, the adult leagues like softball and basketball and all that kind of stuff, volleyball. 8 hours a day, 4 hours in the afternoon, 4 hours at night with the game. Afternoon in the office, games in the evening. I had a campus job where I cleaned the pool, not like a swimming pool, it was like the competition indoor pool. And I had a full load for morning classes. I had the best grades I've ever had. I had more money than I've ever had at that time, and I had a better social life. I had no time, but I was forced to prioritize and to organize and get things done. In the past, when I had all this free time, I couldn't get anything done because I just kind of hung out. I was forced to make time for everything and figure things out, and that's the best year I ever had. And plan my workouts. Track, I could work out on my own kind of at different times. Remember Lardon? Okay, I wasn't Lardon anymore, but I still was not Olympic decathlete, all right? I was not the greatest of all time. I stole the javelin. I'd done it for like 3 weeks, and we go to the first meet. And I go to throw it. I am not better than any girl at all. Girls are way better than guys. More mature, got more going for them. I feel like I should throw a javelin better than a girl. Right or wrong, I feel like I should do that. At that meet, I did not do that. I was awful. It takes about 8 years to learn how to throw it. It's like shot and disc, and you have to get the leg and then it just takes time to learn all that stuff. And I had 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm not athletic. And riding home on the van that evening, I was just, it was back to the old days. Like, oh my gosh, you can't do this. You are awful. You're horrible. You'll never be any good. Why are you even trying this? So I went and quit. The next meet was at Brownwood, Blue Bonnet Relays. Texas Tech was there. I know that because on their jersey it said Texas Tech. They are throwing the javelin at Texas Tech because they're good enough to get a scholarship to throw the javelin at Texas Tech. And then there's Ryle. And they are right before me. When you throw the javelin, it's like a 16-step approach. You stride up here, then you drop it, and then you stick, and when you throw it right, it goes. They threw it right. I never threw it right. And I stood there, and I said, God, I can't do this. I'm awful, I'm horrible, and I'm going to look 8 billion times worse because NCAA runner-up champion is going to be doing it before me. If you will help me to do this and not look like a complete idiot, I'll tell everybody the rest of my life that you did it and I had nothing to do with it. So I take off, I let it go, and I look, and it's going. So I look to see who threw that. It was me. Coach Morris, one of the greatest coaches ever. He would have us fill out goal cards for every meet. And my goal that week was 110 feet. I'd thrown it 102 feet the week before. 110. I threw it 145 feet that week. He's going crazy. I don't know what happened to that card. I had that card until about 5 moves ago, and he wrote all over it. And from that point on, I went on, and Texas Tech was not my conference. So every meet, I got better, and I started to make the finals. And at the conference meet, I scored points. I think I got like 4th. And we won the conference. And everybody's graduating. Everybody. But me and this 10,000 meter runner, this guy was awful. 10,000 meters is about 25 and a half laps. And Coach, can you remember I told you I was pretty responsible and always did things, and Coach was like, Coach Morris, he was using me. I find out, at first I thought, all right. He said, John, would you, we're going to go over and get the reservations at the restaurant, get that going. Would you stay in time? I forget his name. I was like, yes, sir, yeah. Lap 13. And I'm out there just standing for, however long, an hour, waiting for him to finish. And then he finished in dead last. And then he said, well, I got a cool down. I said, your whole race was a cool down. You ain't cooling down. We're going to go eat. So he went, anyway. I drove the van. Because Coach Morris, when he touched the wheel, would go to sleep. And after the first trip, Donald Dunlap, who trained for the Olympics, he was about this tall, and he won the 100 at the conference. 100 meter dash, y'all seen that probably. It's all at the same time. Everybody finishes at the same time. You can win and still be just that far ahead. His hair, he had Rouge, it was shaved, and then he had the Jerry curl working up top, and it said Rouge shaved in the back of his head. He's winning the 100, and he's able to go across the finish line and point to the Rouge as he's finished. He was fast. Donald Duck, he was fast, and I'll get that. Why did I say that? Oh, after we got in the van for the second, he goes, Coach, you gotta let Ryle drive. And Coach Morris says, why? He goes, oh, you're right. Come on, John, you can drive. So I drove the van for the trips. The next year, me and that guy and another guy who wasn't any good was the only guys coming back. We were going to be a horrible track team. I had a chance to be track MVP. Because I was decent, and everybody else was horrific. Okay, so all throughout the summer, I'd go work out, and I would go into the A run, the athletic run, And that's all, they kept all the awards on the walls. And I would go up to the track, MVP award plaque. And it had 1991. Yeah, I graduated in 90 from Austin College. I was getting my master's degree because you had to get a master's degree to get a teacher certificate. So I got a master's degree, but I don't like to let people know that because anyway, oh, master's degree, you're one of those. No, I'm not. I want to get a doctorate degree just so I could tell people, don't call me doctor. Don't do that. I hate, oh yeah, that's doctor. Big whoop. So you wrote a paper. No kidding. Okay. Anyways, I'd go in there every day, and I would look at that little thing. Y'all seen little plaques, those little, and I would see my name written there. I never won nothing in my life. Scout team MVP in football. I was scout team. They named me that because I busted my tail. Anyway, every day I'd go in there. 2 days before track started in February, the athletic secretary came in. Vicky, we called her Vicky Vale because the old Batman movie. Her name was Vicky. And she's kind of crying. And she says, Jonathan, I got some bad news for you. I'm in there looking at the trophy. I said, what? She goes, you're ineligible. You can't do track. And I looked at her and I said, there's no way. I said, I'm making like all A's now. Everything's great. My grades are good. I've graduated. She goes, well, you went to UTA your first year. That's 1 year. 4 years at Austin College. Now this is your 6th year in college. I said, yeah, but I didn't play anything at UTA. That year doesn't count. She goes, no, for eligibility, you have 5 total years to play forward. And this is my 6th year in college. I can't tell you the amount of anger, because I can't do anything. I can't work hard enough to fix this. If I have to work for it, fine. I lose my mind sometimes, right? Because I can't fix it, and that drives me crazy. If it's hard, okay, I can do that. And I went home and I cussed God out loud. I said, I am sick and tired of this crap. All my life, I'm getting to here. And then it took away. Does that make sense? Yesterday, all the stuff, I get close and then took away. And I said, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick of you ruining my life. I'm sick of you messing with my life. I'm tired. I can't take it. And I was so mad. And I told you about Coach Morris. He was one of the best men I've ever met in my life. He let me stew for a couple days. And then came by the apartment. He said, John, he always called me John. John, I hate what happened, but I want you to stay with us. I want you to come to practices, come to the workouts, go to the meets with us. Help me out. Stay around it, stay a part of us, and just be around it. And I told him, yes, sir, thank you. And he left. I went, that's the dumbest thing ever. Why? Okay. Say me and Pacer are going out, and Pacer dumps me. Why do I want to hang out and go out on dates with them? Does that make sense? That's how it felt. Why do I want to be around that and watch that? And it's just like ripping the scar open every day. You know what I'm saying? But I did it. I learned it was almost kind of fun because I didn't have to run. And I got to eat. Track meets had coaches' food. And I didn't have to run. I didn't have to hurt. I didn't have to lose. Three years later, maybe 2 years later, because I did some student teaching and coaching Salina at Van Alstyne. The spring in Van Alstyne, spring of '93, I have junior high boys track by myself. And I got the triple jumpers going. I showed them the drill I wanted them to do. I went over to the hurdlers, showed them what I wanted them to do. Then I went to the pole vault and I was explaining some things to the kid doing the pole vault. And then I just stopped. sat back and thought, okay, Ryle, you just told triple jump hurdlers what to do. Now you're telling the pole vault guy what to do. How the crap are you saying these things? I remember. How was you telling them what Coach Morris told our triple jumpers? What he told the hurdlers? And what he was telling the pole vaulters? How did I know what Coach did for those guys? When? When I wasn't throwing the javelin, when I was just hanging out with him. I didn't get what I wanted. God ruined my life. Well, what was he doing? What did he do for me? He prepared me and gave me abilities I didn't know I would need later on. Going through that, now that's not a tragedy, but at that time, that's the worst thing that ever happened to me. Going through that meant I was ready for something 3 years from then. He didn't jack my life up. He made it possible. And I just slipped back with, oh, huh. I went, sorry. Didn't mean to cuss you, God. Sorry. Does that make sense? That horrific thing that I was so mad about, that my life was ruined, that actually made my life possible. That bad thing was the best thing that could have happened to me. And then that same year, I got a letter from a mom that had I don't know what, she had a girl that had a lot of problems and would never live on her own ever. She was in elementary school. She had another daughter in junior high, another daughter in high school, and I coached all of them, the little girl in PE and the other girls in basketball and track. And she wrote me this letter, and she said, explained all three daughters how different they were, and said, and you reached them all, you reached each one of them in a different way. And she even said, she used the word ministry. Now you say, if you hear ministry, what do you think? Think of something, preacher? Right? There's preachers. And that's when I realized we all are preachers. We all have a role. We all got a spot. We got a puzzle piece. And we can choose to do that puzzle piece or not do that puzzle piece. And if you can figure out what my puzzle piece is, what am I supposed to do? Where do I fit in? Then you can fill the void for that little spot. Does that make sense? And in this puzzle we got, if somebody is not filling their puzzle piece, it jacks everything else up. If you're trying to be a doctor because your dad says you have to be a doctor, or you want to make this much money, or you want to have this next to your name, that ain't the puzzle piece you're supposed to be. Does that make sense? You got to figure out what your puzzle piece is. Now, how did I do that? How did I figure out my puzzle piece? How did I go to sportscaster? How did I go to coaching and teaching? What did I do? What's the common denominator in those two things? What's my passion? Sports, football. That led me to my puzzle piece. You have a passion. You have passions. You have things that get you going, right? That will take you to your puzzle piece. If you love making it, what's up, Rich? What's you?
Yeah, switch.
If you love the sound of the engine, and you love there's nothing that jacks you up better than just making that car run when it wouldn't run before. Guess what? That's probably a good idea of where your puzzle piece is. If you love, experience, does that make sense? That's how you figure it out. Don't say, well, how much money does it make? Who gives a crap? I get to walk down that grass to the football field with tears in my eyes, and I get paid to do it. if I don't have something, some physical thing that I'd like to have, that's great because I get to wake up every day and go, yes. I woke up excited today at 3:30 because it was leg day, and I'm almost 53 years old. That tells you how much fun I have, what kind of life I got, right? I wrote this down. I forgot to do this yesterday. One of the first things I told you yesterday is I am a conservative Christian. And that turned some of y'all off. And it's okay. Those of you that are atheists, we believe in the same thing. We have common ground. Because what I believe in this ridiculous God that was never created, that was there forever, and made everything. That's impossible. If you're an atheist, you believe that stuff just came out of nowhere and magically turned into stuff. That's equally ridiculous, right? So both Christians and atheists believe in ridiculous things that don't make any sense. You know? Atheists explain where everything came from. Oh, it just did. Just did. Christian explain where God came from. Oh, it was just there. Same answer. Same thing. Also, let me throw this in because I am biased. If you put all the pieces of a TV in a room and come back a billion years later, there's not going to be a TV. Even if you put them next to each other, it's not going to turn into a TV. Right? And do some advertising here, promotion. There's been a lot of scientists who set out to prove God does not exist. And through science and math, they come to the conclusion that God has to exist because science has order and steps, and there's no chaos. Things don't come out of nothing. There's been a lot of scientists say there has to be something triggering this stuff. Something made this happen. It doesn't just whatever. All right. Does that kind of make sense? Did that kind of tie things together? Everything that went wrong in my life was right. Let me tell you this too. I meant to say this. Never was any good, right? I was never what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the guy. I'll tell you about the extra gear. Let me tell you that one. This proves I couldn't handle it. Middle of my sophomore year, we're playing in football practice. We're doing sprints, and I'm going as fast as I can. And Otis was right there, and all of a sudden I shifted into, and I had this burst. You ever heard of that guy's got an extra gear? You ever heard of that? I had the extra gear. It just happened one day. When I blew, just burst out in front of me. I went, whoa. You know those movies where the superhero figures out he's got his superpowers? Like, oh my gosh, I'm fast. I got it. Oh, I'm that guy. And so the more I had, the longer I had it, the more cocky I got. And I'd play softball. And I'd be in left field. And I'd move over to center field and just point. Then hit it, and I'd run it down, throw it in. Hat backwards. And then one day, about a year and a half after I gained the superpower, I'm around in the second, and I went to shift. It went away. I couldn't handle the gift. I abused the gift. If I'm any good as a coach, it's because I was a horrible athlete. Little Christy Merriman was all region basketball 4 years. She was athlete of the year in her high school 4 years in a row. She can't shoot a basketball now. She can't tell you how to shoot a basketball. She just says, well, just shoot it, because that's what she did. She was an athlete. Well, just shoot the ball. I can explain to you, okay, pick the ball up. Okay, now you're going to hold it like you're a waiter holding the pizza pan. And then you're going to turn. I can explain all the steps to it because I couldn't do it and I had to know all the little steps. So if I'd have been what I wanted to be, I couldn't be what I need to be. Does that make sense? What if I throw the javelin and won the conference? Won MVP. And everything's great. And then I'm in Van Alstyne trying to coach junior high track. And we don't have the javelin. God, we don't have the javelin. I don't know anything. I guess just run and jump for, that wouldn't help. Every time a door slams in your face, you can sit there and stare at the door and cry about the door being slammed. Does the door care? Is the door going to say, oh, excuse me, let me just open up again? No. But every time that door slams, there's a little window somewhere else that's open. And it's way better than the crap you're worried about. But you got to turn away from that door and find the window. Does that make sense? When I was coaching Van Alstyne, blondes were always my kryptonite, always my cocaine. They destroyed me, but I couldn't quit. I'd keep giving them chances. Well, there's this blonde in Van Alstyne. Her family had moved in. She was going to college, at Grayson College. She worked at the little pizza place there in Van Alstyne, and we started dating. Now I'm a coach in a little town. I don't have free time. We went out for a couple of years, and I thought, someday I'd like to be married, have a family. I guess I'll ask her to marry me. What am I going to do, meet people? You don't go meet people. And I thought, it's the one. I really did. Thought she was the one. There wasn't anything awful. I did think, she will grow up once she gets out of mom and dad's house. That will check. Listen, nobody changes. Nobody changes. Don't hope. And don't think, well, maybe something. No, they don't change. All right? At the wedding, all my boys were there. Bart, Lane, all the guys. Bart Tatum. Bart Tatum was about this tall. He was from Cooper, Texas. White boy with glasses, like big black rim glasses. And he talked like this. He played fullback, and he didn't want to score. He just wanted to hit people. I can't tell you how many times he's running down the sideline. There's a safety. He goes and just gets up. Yeah! Touchdown, please. Can we score some touchdowns, Bart? At Saltback's wedding. Saltback was one of my roommates. He was from the Philippines, so we called him Saltback. I saw him at a track meet a couple years ago, and Trompler told me he was there, and he comes up behind me, and he puts his hands over my eyes from the back. He goes, "Who is it?" And I looked at him. I said, "Cordell." And he goes, "What? How'd you know?" I said, "Well, I saw that dark arm. I knew it was." "Shut up, bro! Shut up!" Anyway, he's getting married. In the middle of the wedding, it's at this big fancy lake outside thing. Bart stands up and starts walking down the aisle, and Bart's a weirdo. So we're like, what's going on? What's Bart doing? Somebody stop him. He goes up there, he turns around, he sings the Lord's Prayer a cappella, no music. The most beautiful voice I've ever heard. And all this is just. So he was coming to sing at my wedding. And all week, back in my mind, all that could go in my mind was, what God has joined together, let no man separate. And I was like, okay, this is big. Is this really? I thought, no, okay, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They were from California. For Remember the Titans people. They're different. It's good that we have differences. We need to be different. We don't all need to be the same. I'll get to that later. Her and her mom are taking my guys and her girls and like putting couples around the front. And I'm sitting there and all look, wait a minute, excuse me, what's going on? These are my guys, it's my team. Why are you putting them? Oh, this is how all the weddings are in California. And I said, this is Texas, we don't do this. And they said, well, I guess your best man could stand by you. I was like, Thank you for letting my best man, my soulmate, stand by me in my wedding. Now, I have one of these upstairs, you know the old buildings in downtown, like Decatur, the old buildings downtown? I had an apartment in Van Alstyne. It was like an upstairs, old bit, it was a kiln. You know what a kiln is? Where they bake clay in art class. It was a brick building that got sun all day, and there's probably no insulation. And it was, anyway, I lived there about 2 blocks from the church, and I walked to the church, and I realized I didn't have the ring. So I called my partner. Bart answers. Yo, what's up? I said, okay, Bart. Yeah. You know, and I went, hey, could you tell Lane to bring the ring? Yeah, Lane, ring, got it. He hangs up. There's no way this would work. Well, anyway, me and the preacher and Lane and Bart are standing in his office fixing the wedding's fixing to start. And I look at Lane and say, Lane, did you bring it? Bart goes, yeah, Lane, you're supposed to bring the ring. And Lane goes, I didn't know. Nobody told me. So we didn't have a ring. Lane had got married about 3 months before. So I said, Lane, we'll use your ring. Fixed. Just, you know, I'll keep it warm. So we get down there, and I'm standing there, and she walks down the aisle, and she's standing right there, and I looked at her, I said, okay, when it gets to the ring, don't worry. She goes, what? Just go with it. Go with it. So I pulled that ring out, and she goes, yeah, I just go. So I think either me and Lane are married, or her and Lane are married. I don't know if it works. Marriage it's fantastic. It takes work because it's 2 people, and there's troubles and there's problems. But this is bigger than the problems. You know, things weren't great. Things were real, you know, it's tough. And being married to a coach is not fun because there's no time, and your time is everybody else's, and everybody else's kids are more important than you, right? And is that ever bad? You ever feel bad about that? Did you kind of understand, or was it? At least I wasn't there yelling at games of yours, you know. I was somewhere else. Is it dumb having? Is it crappy having this? Okay. Where's that at? Oh. Little things would happen, and I just, you know, like I said, you look past stuff, you don't see stuff. We're going to state track meet. Had a girl, I was a gunner, had a girl made 3,200, so we're just gonna go with us. I go down to her car, I find the cigarettes, I come back up, we get in a fight. I thought you said you quit, you can't run my life, blah, 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 so I leave, I go to school. Call the house, she ain't there. I call her work, she's not there, and then something in the back of my head said, ask a question. And I said, well, did she work last weekend? They said, no. Did she work the weekend before that? No. She doesn't work weekends. You ever gotten punched right there and you can't breathe? Suddenly I knew. Everything I thought was true was a lie. Everything in my life didn't exist. Everything turned upside down, and I hang up the phone. And I'm fixing to have to drive a girl to Austin to compete, and supposed to be a leader, and then and be excited, and I'm a crumpled heap of tissue. That make sense? I hang up the phone in the office, and the principal says, Coach Ryle, I need to talk to you about this trip. So I walk in the office, I close the door, and I literally collapse on the floor in just a train wreck. I'm in there about 30 minutes, get everything under control, walk out, get the van, Alyssa, drive to Austin, get to Austin, all my pals are there, coaching pals. Hey Ryle, where's Brooke? Hey Ryle, where's Brooke? Hey Ryle, where's Brooke? Hey Ryle, where's Brooke? And every time somebody says that, inside I am screaming, I have no idea. I don't know. Oh God, she had things to do. And then I'm wondering what things. Where is she? What is going on? Get home Saturday night, go home, she's not there. Wake up Sunday morning, she's not there. Doing my Sunday school lesson, because I taught high school Sunday school at Ben Austin. I'm sure that was amazing. I'm sure that was just an extremely, just the greatest inspirational message ever. Actually, I had some church show on, and that verse popped up. Now, I was a Christian, but I didn't have a lot of Bible verses. I would look at the Bible when things got bad. And that thing popped up, and that's another punch. It was a punch, but it was a good punch. I went, whoa. Huh. She walked in about that time and said, Mom wants us to meet after lunch, or for lunch. Okay. So after church, I go to Mom and Dad's house. We're sitting there talking, and I said, I know I don't do everything right, and I need to change a lot of things and work on things. I said, but I want to make this work. And she looked at me and said, I don't. That's the best I felt in 4 days. Why did that feel good? I finally knew. I had something that at least I know what's going on. I know, okay, all right, it kills me, but I get it. Now I understand. Now I can start to heal a little bit. Now I got a cast on my arm. It was flopping around everywhere for 4 days. Now it's got a cast. I said, okay, let me drive you to your car. We drove in silence. I let her off. She got a car. Now I'm going to be a divorced guy. Little Johnny Ryle does things right. Now I'm a divorced guy. Never going to be a divorced guy. Losers are divorced guys. Now I'm a divorced guy. In Texas, we didn't have anything, and we weren't fighting about anything. So I went and bought a book at the bookstore in Sherman. I think it was really like How to Do a Divorce for Dummies. And it walked you through it. And I had a little paperwork in there, so I did the divorce. I was the lawyer. Did the divorce. I took the papers to her mom's house, took it to her mom, and her mom said, Jonathan, as a Christian, she was like, you need to wait. You don't need to do this right now. You need to wait. Now, and this is what I told her. She said, how as a Christian can you get a divorce? And I said, just waiting. There's a lot of things this idiot has done as a Christian. And I talked to God, and he's not okay with what I've done, but he's okay with me. And he forgave me. And Jesus hung on the cross for me. And that's what he's done for this. I said, I can't rip the scar open anymore. It's got to heal. So we get divorced. We went to the judge, middle of football season. And there was something I'd left out. I didn't know what paper I had to have. And the judge gave it to us, says, bring this back this afternoon. And Brooke said, I'll come by your house and get it, and you can take it to the judge. And she did. Now, I'm the divorced guy. I'll tell you what happened. Is this bell fixing ring? It's 50. It should ring. I admitted it to me. I'll tell you what happened after that. Anyway. Did this make sense? Do you see what yesterday was about? And all the crap I went through. Did I tell you why Pacer's named Pacer? I had a science teacher. Coach Boyle, did I tell you that? When I was 14, freshman science, she told us about her family. She had a son named Pacer and a son named Colt. She just had Colt. And God spoke to me. First time ever I heard him spoke. Probably first time I ever listened. He said, you will have 2 sons named Colt and Pacer. And I said, yes, sir. Awesome. Great. So that's why. You met the real Pacer too, didn't you? Okay, thank you. Y'all have a great day.